What's going on, everyone? So Stephon Castle has been absolutely balling out in Summer League. I mean, even in his debut, he gave you 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 0 turnovers. Shooting could be better, and we'll touch on that here more in a moment. But follow that up, gives you 18, and then you go and you play the Portland Trailblazers in the Las Vegas Summer League, and he comes out, gives you 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. And again, he's just looked very good, very comfortable out there, getting to his spots, getting to the rim, creating contact, finishing through contact, knocking down the 3 ball, hitting the mid-range, getting the little floater going, making plays for various people. And it's really nice to see him just kind of play with some level of confidence out there, right? Because that's what you want to see. You want to see him out there competing. Obviously, he's going to have his good moments. He's going to have his bad moments. He's going to have his struggles, right? Particularly in his shooting, right? His vision definitely needs some working on, right? The way he looks for guys. Like right now, look, it's summer league, right? Everyone's trying to ball out. Everyone's trying to show out. Everyone's trying to prove that they can, just take a bunch of shots and make a roster and score the basketball. And, it's not super organized. It's a little chaotic. It's a little crazy. And yet you're still seeing Castle stand out amongst everybody, right? And, you look at the Blazers game. Played 29 minutes. He was 8 of 21 from the field, which, again, isn't great. 38%. And he was 2 of 6 from three-point range, which is 33%. He was 4 or 5 from the foul line, what you want to see, and be able to knock down his free throws with consistency and regularity. He gave you 5 total rebounds, 2 of which were offensive rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, 5 turnovers. Again, areas that need to be improved on. But that's the beauty of him with the Spurs and him playing alongside Chris Paul, right? I'm trying to watch him as, he's playing in Summer League and trying to watch his playmaking, kind of the way he sees the floor, right? Obviously, you're not playing with the talent that he'd be playing with on the Spurs and just the NBA in general, right? Like, you're playing with guys that 90% of the roster isn't even going to make the NBA, right? Most of the guys are going to end up playing overseas or G League or go various places, right? So, you can't judge him too much in the sense of like his playmaking ability, but he has been aggressive, which I do like. He has been looking for his shot, but I also want to see him as the point guard, right? And I'd like to see him kind of, which it'll come, right? It's not like a major criticism, but it is something he needs to work on his handles. He needs to work on his vision, kind of not getting tunnel vision, right? But I do think Chris Paul is going to help tremendously in all those areas. And I mean, you look at the NBA now, period, right? The days of those Chris Pauls, the days of the guys that are the true point guards, they kind of don't exist anymore, right? In today's NBA, they're all basically hybrids. They're all really shooting guards that can make the occasional play. But I'd like to see Stephon Castle have that nice balance. Especially like when your shot's not falling or things aren't going the way you want it to, right? You can kind of default and get into your defense set or your defensive intensity, as well as getting into, just being the playmaker, being able to set guys up, right? So far in Summer League, he's been more of like that aggressive, basically, SGA type, right? Make the occasional play, kick it out, get to the open man, but mostly just looking to be aggressive, be in attack mode, which is good, right? Again, you want to be able to see those elements. You want to be able to see him be able to score, and he has. He's been able to get to his spots, even in games where he hasn't really been just lights out. Like, even in the previous game, again, he didn't shoot excellent, but he was comfortable. He got to his spots. He was able to show you that array and that versatility on the offensive side, as well as just being able to put the defender in these compromised positions. And those are the kind of things you want to continue to see. And I'm really hoping that Chris Paul will be able to, one, kind of hone that and focus his gifts and abilities and his ability to kind of get to his spot, be aggressive and get to the rim, kind of use his size to absorb the contact, finish at the rim, right? And kind of, but also mold him into just kind of seeing the court in a specific way, right? There are sequences, even like throughout some of these games, which again, you're looking at these games through the eyes of Summer League, right? A lot that happens in Summer League isn't necessarily going to happen in the NBA, but there are these moments where there are key advantage points that he's not capitalizing on, and which I would like to see that eventually become something once he actually gets in the league and kind of is mentored and brought up by Chris Paul. Recognizing mismatches, recognizing, and seeing the floor in ways that he just currently isn't seeing it, right? I love that he's shown the ability to knock down the three ball. It's important, right? Especially if you're going to be playing the guard, particularly the point guard position, right? You need to be able to have the floater, you need to be able, ideally, hit the mid-range, you need to be able to knock down the three ball, basically be a three-level scorer. And Stephon Castle has shown thus far in Summer League, he is capable and has the ability to be a legit three-level scorer. That's great, right? And once he gets to the roster or to the actual team, and he starts working with Chris Paul, I really do think you'll see the progression as the season begins, right? Also, I'm curious to see what the Spurs do with him in this first year. Do they want him to be aggressive in the sense that he has been in Summer League? I mean, one of the reasons he's been so aggressive I don't know this, but could be because they've told him, like, hey, go get your shot, get comfortable, kind of get a feel, play loose, go out there, just ball out. You got the shot, take it, right? It's Summer League, air it out, right? So, I'm curious to see with Chris Paul, and you have like Trey Jones and stuff like that on the Spurs. Do the Spurs kind of let him be aggressive this year? Do they tell him like, hey, go, just get your buckets, right? And kind of let Chris Paul do the playmaking? Obviously, again, you're still going to mentor him. You're still going to have him learn and develop. Or do they kind of play him in that like backup point guard role and have him basically be the lead initiator and the guy that's making the plays? And I don't necessarily mean in the sense of like him backing up Chris Paul. I mean in the sense like you could even start him, right? Like let's say, whatever, your starting five is like Chris Paul, Vassell, Castle, Zohan, and Victor Wembanyama, right? Okay, cool. Just whatever, however you want your starting five. But let's say Castle is in the starting five, right? Like, I imagine Pop will be conservative with Chris Paul in his minutes because you want him as healthy as possible. So I could see after the 5-minute mark, Chris Paul moving to the bench. Maybe you bring in like a Keldon Johnson, right? And then move Stephon Castle over to the point. And allow him, like, hey, now's your time to run and initiate the offense, right? So when Chris Paul's on the court, hey, go get your buckets, right? Be aggressive, look for your shot, be that offensive scorer, because you also want him to learn, develop, and be able to play off ball also. Because the better he is off ball, the better and more versatile he becomes, right? Because if he can be good off ball, then when Victor has the ball, he can, be constantly moving and be a threat. Or if, like say you do run at times, say, Vassell's getting rest on the bench, you could just slide Castle over to the 2, right? Because he does have size, right? So you could slide him over to the 2, boom, run Trey Jones, and now let Castle kind of play off ball. But you want to get him as balanced as possible. So I'm curious to see if they kind of just let him have the green light when Chris Paul's on the court and then shift him over to like, hey, now we need you to basically be playmaker. Like, yeah, still get your shot. Still, if you got it, take it. But keep in mind, you're playing the playmaker role now. And kind of let him get that in his system and allow him to kind of be able to have that balance. Or do they just kind of this year go, hey, it's his first year. Let's not put a ton of pressure on him, right? Let's let him basically just air it out alongside Victor Wembanyama and let the two of them just kind of play their game, do their thing, right? You got Chris Paul Trey Jones can kind of be the backup point guard this year. Because look, I know a lot of people, I've seen the comments where people are like, oh, but we only got Chris Paul for a year. You only signed for a year. That doesn't mean you necessarily only have him for a year, right? If it goes well and it works out great, why wouldn't you keep him, right? Especially if he's willing to stick around, right? Like, if you can kind of use this year as kind of the hey, just get your feet wet, just go out there, enjoy yourself, get a feel for the game. I mean, they did that with Victor Wembanyama a lot early on, right? They managed his minutes. They kind of just let him go out there and play free, kind of let him go out there, play a little loose, right? Like, hey, just do your thing. Just play your game. Like, get comfortable, obviously within reason and within the schemes of the Spurs. But, it was very loose early on. And then you saw as the season progressed, tightened up a little more. All of a sudden, his minutes get a little more extended, right? And then you get towards the back half of the season, and it was just like, is the Victor Wembanyama show, right? But before that, it was just kind of like, hey, let's kind of protect him. Let's kind of let him, kind of get a feel for the game, understand the pace, understand the speed, all of that. They kind of do the same thing with Castle, where it's like, hey, let him go out there. Let him just play. Like, hey, don't worry too much. Don't think it too much. Just go out there, play your game. You got the ball, do what you do. And then slowly as the season progresses, kind of get him more focused, get him more locked in. Once he kind of gets the pace, the speed, the NBA game a little better, then you start trying to kind of reel him in and finding that better balance. Curious to see how it goes. But some real positive signs from Stephon Castle, man. He's balling out. I love what I'm seeing from him. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like what you're seeing from Stephon Castle so far in Summer League? Do you think, no, we need to see more? He needs to be better? Again, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.